Hi, Myra.
How are you? Oh, hi. Nice to see you. It's good to see you. Yeah, nice to see you. Got your name right.
I'm Rod Howe. I'm the Executive Director of the History Center. So thank you so much for being here today. We knew we would get a good turnout, and we did. By the way, this is being taped by Channel 13. So Lauren Stefanelli is over here. So we just want you to be aware that it's being taped. Sorry. I happen to be a board member for Historic Ithaca, so it helps to bridge and for us to do some joint programming. So we value your support. You support both organizations in multiple ways. Keep supporting those two fine organizations. Introduce John Lewis. John Lewis is the new Executive Director of Historic Ithaca. John has a PhD from University of Kentucky in American History, an MA from the University of Delaware, History with a graduate certificate in Museum Studies, and a BA from Rhodes College in History. But John would be the first to say that those credentials aren't what's important to him. He brings a lot of passion and experience to the organization, and we're very pleased to have John as the new Executive Director of Historic Ithaca. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Lewis. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Rod. I must say that it's with great joy and such a privilege that my first sort of public event is this wonderful panel of heroes of the Clinton House and other preservation activities.
As I look back, I keep thinking of all the things that we do today. We recycle, which we didn't do. We try to find reuse for so many items now. I think the list goes down and down of what I want to say was our example, and it was certainly Vicki, again, you kept saying, well, you can reuse this and do it this way, and you can reuse that lumber, and we can reuse this. So whereas we're a throwaway society in the 70s, I think that's all changed now. We're certainly trying to save energy. So I'd like to think all of that is an outgrowth of what we did with the Clinton House. I also wanted to say that since the Clinton House, only Roberts Hall on the Cornell campus has been destroyed. All of the other state buildings on the Cornell campus have been rehabbed. Like, for instance, my husband's former office, Warren Hall, $45 million in that building, but it's completely now air conditioned. It's designed to be it's a teaching a classroom building for the Ag Quad. But I think all of this has happened since we did the Clinton House, and I'm really delighted that that's the case.
Yeah, just kind of building on what Carol said, the way to do something was to knock it down and start over. And there was actually a group of people that showed something could be rehabbed, repurposed, reused successfully. And, as I said before, we didn't know what we were doing and we didn't know how to do it, but we did it. We had a goal that was firmly there in front of us of saving this building. And to do it, we had to invent some of our own ways to be successful. And it was the first time that something on that scale was successful. And so it's sort of, changed the way people looked at something, that it didn't have to be torn down and rebuilt. If you determined something had value and worth, you could reuse it and repurpose it.
At the outset, we knew we had to find a tenant for the ground floor of the building. And at that time, we were close to the bicentennial. The county was going to refurbish the old courthouse, the old county courthouse, where the Historical Society had been located on the upper floor. So that was our first, really, we worked very, very hard to have the Historical Society take the basement and the first floor. So it just, yeah, after that it just, well, plus I have to say our rents were low, like $2 a square foot. But then after that, more tenants moved in as Armin moved in and some more of the lawyers moved in.
I alluded earlier that our own company, Richardson Brothers, as well as Milbar Majesty had offices, and we were tenants in the Clinton House for 10 years, from 1975 to 1985, when we both moved and became owners of the Crescent Building.
I also feel strongly that some of the new buildings built are not sympathetic to their neighbors. Some of them are very bulky. They practically walk off their sites from the kind of preposterous sizes that they are. And I'm not just saying vertical, horizontal too. So I think there's kind of a mismatch in many areas of Connecticut today where you have some beautiful older buildings, but then you don't have a span that kind of bonds the new with the old. And as many other people said here, I love modern architecture. I think there's been some fabulous modern buildings built here and other places, but we do have a situation in downtown Ithaca where in some areas the old and the new just, they refuse to talk to each other, and I don't think that's an architect's fault.
I'd like to just make a general comment. Talking about, somebody said, you know, what can we do to save the mansion by Oak Hill? And I'm just going to state what I'm seeing when I'm looking this way. And I'm looking my side. Look at the age of the people in this room. Somehow, passion and energy for this topic need to be passed down to younger people that have got, you know, the good bones to do this kind of thing again. You know, at our age, yeah, we're better equipped to write a check or help financially than when we were around 40 years ago. But passion for historic renovation and preservation needs to be alive in somebody that's 20 and 25 and 30 years old. And there are some younger people here, but most part, this is a whole group of people sitting here. We all are. And, you know, how do we get that to move down to younger folks?
Okay, so Michael, we give the Oak Hill Manor to the youths,
Yeah.
and we take the bar back for us.
Who aren't here today, just as a little, other people that, yeah.
What makes you think I have that kind of a memory? Yes, they are actually on this list, which this very organized organization has put together. The people that, this is what you mean, right? The people that were part of the volunteers that couldn't come?
No, I'm talking about the people who are no longer with us.
Oh,
Those
you mean
people.
after my comments, now I have to do something serious. Professor Stephen Jacobs, and banker Courtney Crawford, and photographer and long-time resident of this area, Connie Saltonstall, Gretchen Saxe, and Tony, who insisted being called Sled Dog and called all of us Sled Dogs, Turbo, Eleanor Bly, Professor Peter Kahn, who anytime we needed a poster, we would run over to his studio and print it, or he would print it for us or make one for us. He never said no to us, never. Actually, did anybody say no to us? No. We just walked up to him and said, we need this. And Carol would say, we need money. And strangely enough, it came. And Tyke Cohn, and J. Lawrence Smith, and please forgive me if I've forgotten somebody, but I think those people all worked very, very hard, and we did have a wonderful group, I must say. You all came from completely different perspectives, different levels of education, and it didn't matter in the least. We had a common cause.
On behalf of everyone here, and certainly for myself, I want to thank each of you for the noble effort that you did in granting this legacy to us. And I personally am very optimistic for the future. I think the young people are going to take up the mantle. And with that, we'll break, and if you want to meet these people in person and ask personal questions, you can. Thank you. I wanted to ask that about Ruby Bar's
I know, right?
I actually have a friend who wrote